These games are huge. Like, to get through all 5 cases, it takes between 20 and 30 hours. So they're very long games, but they're well worth it. Would you update his testimony, Athena? You got it, boss. So I called the Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Cykes. Oh, this was the way it was updated. When I found Athena in the robotics lab, I was relieved. But I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Cykes to return. Wait, what? And now he's sad. When she did, I plunged the katana in. Yeah, why is he sad? Not even you can falsify your emotions, Prosecutor Blackwell. What? When you said that you killed Dr. Cykes in your testimony, you felt sadness. Why would someone who had laid in wait to kill her be sad at her death? Such an obvious attack. Oh, no worries, Agent Trent. I had a disconnection issue, so it's all good. Yes, I felt sadness, but it wasn't for her. I felt sorrow for Athena and her circumstances. He can't be talking about that, can he? I was just a convenient subject for her research. Ah. Dr. Cykes was so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments. My objective was to save Athena. From an obsessive scientist who treated her own daughter like a research subject. What? I went to the psychology lab first. That's where I would usually find Athena playing. But that day was different. I heard someone crying in the robotics lab next door. Was Athena being subjected to yet another experiment? I thought as I went to see. Conveniently, Athena had cried herself to sleep, so all I had to do was wait and kill. So that's why he was relieved when he saw Athena. But is this story really true? I'm not sure how much to believe. Mr. Wright? How you doing, Athena? Still hanging in there? I'm a lot stronger than I look, boss. Now take a look at this. The noise level actually increased. Of course it did. Oh, this is going to be a bitch. Now we're up to 60%. It went up. I've never seen it do that before. Prosecutor Blackwell is lying somewhere in his testimony. As a matter of fact, he's piling lie on top of lie in an attempt to make his claim sound more believable. He's trying even harder to suppress his true feelings, and that's what's causing the noise. How in the world should I approach this? I can either use an evidence-based approach if I can find a contradiction, otherwise I should look for an inconsistency in his emotions. There are no flaws in my testimony, and his baldness is prepared to give his verdict. Give up on this lost cause, and let the law free me of these chains already. I don't think so. Not while I'm around. Now, contradictory testimony or inconsistent emotions. Which should I tackle first? His emotions. Okay, let's look for inconsistent emotions. You got it, boss. If you want to try looking for a contradictory statement instead, just let me know. I can easily switch over. Right, so now we're looking for an unexpected emotion again. Her crying from next door, of course I was worried. I hurried over and opened the door to the robotics lab. Why surprise? Before I could lead Athena out of there, cursed my luck, Dr. Cykes came in. I refused to hand Athena over, so I had no choice but to kill my mentor. Right. The only one that really sticks out is the... like, being shocked at that. How odd. Why would you register surprise at opening the door to the lab? Alright, fine. I'll explain if I must. What surprised me was... Ponko. That toy figure attacked me. Dr. Cykes knew full well of my plan to rescue Athena. But she couldn't stand guard over her daughter 24 hours a day. So Dr. Cykes had Ponko do it? That's right. She ordered Ponko to forcibly remove me on sight. So I sliced Ponko up with a katana that was there in the lab. That rickety old puppet wasn't worthy of that fine blade. Mr. Wright, it's happening again. There's even more noise now. Oh my god. Is it 100% now? What's going on here? Whenever we find an opening, he covers it up with lies. We'll never get rid of the noise at this rate. It's pretty hard to keep telling coherent lies like that. His mind and will really are as sharp and as strong as a katana. Alright, what should I tackle first this time? I mean, I've tackled his emotions. That fucked me, so we'll tackle the testimony. I think there might be an inconsistency in Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. Alright, let's give it a thorough check then. Alright, we're doing it on this. Different. With a feeling of dread, I opened the robotics lab door. Just then... Ponko attacked me. I retaliated by cutting it into pieces. But before I could lead Athena out of there, Curse My Luck, Dr. Cykes came in. I refused to hand Athena over, so I had no choice but to kill my mentor. Ooh. So he cut Ponko to pieces. Wait, how the hell would it have blood on it then? Where's the photo? Is it this one? I think it's one of these. Not that one. Oh, not that one either. Crap, which one was it? Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's got blood on it. So that was only after he'd already... Oh. That was already... I'm all over the place. That was after Cykes had been stabbed then. I just assumed they, like, leaked red stuff. But okay, that makes sense. So there. Objection! There wouldn't be blood on the arm. Compounding lies with more lies is never the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. Take a look at this photo. That's the photo of the supposed moment of the murder, isn't it? How many more times must I see that which damned me for my sin? The ironic thing is, I think this picture is actually going to be your saviour now. See the bloodstain at the end of Ponko's arm where it was severed with the katana? I hope you aren't claiming it's the robot's blood, Mr. Wright. No, most likely the blood was transferred there from the bloody katana. The katana already had blood on it, so then it must have been the victim's blood. That's right, but if that's the case, we found a glaring inconsistency. She was already stabbed. Already dead. And he's just realised. You said in your testimony that you cut up Ponko, and then you killed Dr. Cykes. But in spite of that, the victim's blood is already on Ponko's arm in this picture. What? But that couldn't be. Exactly. In order for the blood to have transferred from the sword to Ponko's arm, the victim must have been stabbed first before the robot was slashed. In other words, Prosecutor Blackwell, your entire testimony is nothing but one giant ball of lies. Oof. Tell the court the truth, Prosecutor Blackwell. Now. Oh, look at him. You have no idea what you're doing. His voice. There's so much discord. I'm hearing not just one or two, but a bunch of rampaging emotions here. It's hard to describe. It's like a violent whirlpool or something. Oh dear. Phoenix Wright. You will pay for this. Never have I been forced to reveal so much, but the rest I'll take to my grave. Prosecutor Blackwell, you are on the witness stand. You are obligated to tell the truth. Isn't that the rule of the courtroom? All of these complex emotions, they seem to be flowing from one source. I think whatever he really saw that day is what's causing these feelings. Oh no, is it an overload? Oh god, it is. It's all of them. Holy crap, that's loud. So following the sound of crying, I opened the lab door, and then... I saw it, that terrible scene. If I could lead Athena out of there, so it's the same. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. This voice, it hurts to even listen to it. He's been living with this pain inside him for all these years. And the root of it is hidden somewhere in his testimony, isn't it? That's right. Please hurry. Please set him free, Mr. Wright. Yeah, I didn't want to exit. Can you actually, like, skip to different testimony? Oh, you can. Oh. Fancy. Oh god. Never mind, you can't do that. So what would have been the cause? This? Probe. The robotics lab. Ponko. Athena? Like, it clearly cares for Athena. Is it Athena that's causing the strong emotion? I don't know if I actually got it or if that was wrong. When you opened the door and saw Athena, you became overwhelmed by your emotions. Isn't that right, prosecutor? Oh, he's sweating. You should know better. Though it's pathetic, I admit I'm terrified to speak of it. Huh? Prosecutor Blackwell, Miss Cykes is innocent. I will always believe that with all my heart. Now, can't you find it within yourself to believe in me too? Athena is innocent. Huh? Can you honestly say you believe it? Or believe that to be true? Right, Dono? Oh. I give you my word. Now tell me what you really saw when you opened that door. Curse you, Phoenix Wright. Oh no. You can actually get a bad ending. If you fuck up with that. It was a tragedy. One I'll never forget. Yeah, I think there's 3 bad endings. And obviously 1 good. I know in like previous games when there's been a bad ending, I've gone out of my way to get it. But yeah, this time I didn't want to go to the effort. It was a tragedy. One I'll never forget. When I arrived at the lab, actually the only other game that had a good and bad ending, I think, was Justice for All. And that was an easy one to actually get both of. All you had to do was choose. It was a matter of choice, whereas this you have to deplete your gauge. I can't be asked doing that. When I arrived at the lab, Dr. Cykes was already dead. She was lying on the operating table, while the bloody katana lay on the floor. And standing between the two... Oh... Covered in blood was Athena. She smiled, with a far-off look in her eyes, as she sweetly said, "Oh dear. Oh dear." As she sweetly said, "Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her." Oh, Jesus. Wow. That was creepy. That's what I saw. And now you have it. The truth that you so desperately wanted. Oh god, Athena's probably gonna break down too. Great. No. Prosecutor Blackwell finally tells the truth. And this is what it is. It's beyond devastating. I fucking knew she was gonna do this. I tried to take my mother apart. I don't like seeing it. I just don't like that animation. Jesus. Bloody hell. That's pretty messed up. So it was me. I'm the one who killed my mother. Athena. As I said, right? The truth isn't always pretty. Murder, disassembly on an operating table, a scientist using her daughter as a guinea pig. Sadly, it appears that my theory was correct after all.
Objection!
Whoa, oh. It's true that Athena didn't like her mother's research, but... You dare cast aspersions on my mentor by claiming Athena was used in such a manner? Dr. Cykes could be awkward with people. But she loved her daughter with all her heart. She... loved me? Your mother hated to see you suffer because you could hear the voices of people's hearts. She wanted to set you free of your pain, so she worked tirelessly on her research. Do you remember those headphones you hated so much? Oh, is my theory correct? Did they block out people's inner voices? Or like the voice of people's hearts? She looks so sad when wearing them, though. Yes, my head hurt every time I wore them. Looks like something out of Jet Set Radio. No, Athena, it's just the opposite. They emitted sound waves to nullify emotional input from the voices of people around you. Ah. I mean, I didn't get scientific, I just kind of put it like a caveman. It seems I was right, though. Your power was much stronger then than it is now. And those headphones were what enabled you to carry on with everyday life. No, that can't be true. Then why would I have done something like that? To somebody who loved me so much? Yeah, the Ace Attorney series is pretty dark. I mean, it's about murder. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like the darkest storylines. Probably the end of Trials and Tribulations. Just Trials and Tribulations in general is a super dark game. Her love for you was real, that I can guarantee. That's why I knew. That what happened had to be some kind of mistake. I couldn't let you be punished for it. So you took the blame yourself. You and your mentor are more alike than you know. Ponko was a witness, so I put it in the case, held Athena close, and vacated the lab. Edgeworth was right. I threw Ponko away in the boarding lounge trash chute. And I hid the case on the Space Center grounds. It would seem that we now have all of the facts of this case. No, not yet. It can't end like this. Do not disgrace yourself, Mr. Wright. The truth has been revealed. Or are you the type of man to turn your back to things that disagree with you? I'm not. But this. I can't give up now. I have to say something, anything, even if it's a bluff. I've always managed to pull through that way in the past. I have to make it work. The defense is, prepared to present evidence. Oh wow, we're just bald-faced lying. Mr. Wright. Yes, Athena? It's okay. You can stop now. I don't want you or anyone else to suffer any longer for my sake. Athena, what are you saying? I killed my mother. That's the truth. It's just like Prosecutor Edgeworth said. We have to face it, no matter how much it hurts. Oof. I admit my guilt. But could I please be granted just one chance to tell everyone what I recall? It appears Miss Cykes is much braver than you, Mr. Wright. What say you, Your Honor? In light of her courage, will the court give Miss Cykes this opportunity to confess? Very well. Then if you would, please take the stand, Miss Cykes. Okay. Oh, she's confessing. Okay. This isn't a testimony, though. Ah, the music. Thank you for letting me do this, Prosecutor Edgeworth. And thank you, Mr. Wright, and Prosecutor Blackwell, for letting the truth be known. Now we can finally move forward, and everyone's suffering can come to an end. Athena. I mean, to be fair, getting sad over a game, you know, it's fairly reasonable. Sometimes they have super gripping stories, or characters. Prosecutor Blackwell will be cleared and the dark age of the law can come to an end. Yes, admit your guilt and bring everything to its conclusion. I killed my mother. My memory is still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. Jesus. I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. Your Honor, please find me guilty. I dare say, these are all memories that no one but the murderer would have. I see. Thank you for your confession. I believe this trial has gone on long enough. But before we conclude, does anyone have a counter-argument? I do. I was gonna say. I do, Your Honor. Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, why? I killed her. I remember it now. Any counter-argument now is pointless. Don't tell me you've forgotten one of the basic tenets of wiring. Always believe in the client to the bitter end. Athena, you are not a murderer. Oh, bugger off, Edgeworth. I said that you never change. Would you have actually regressed in these 8 years? I won't stand for your childish emotionalism getting in the way of the truth. Emotionalism? Don't lecture me on matters of the heart, Edgeworth. Because I can see straight into a person's soul. Oh, and her, yep. The 5 Cyclops. Jeez. I did a little research. I looked into those special Cyclops you mentioned, Mr. Neck. Athena isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart and her memories are sealed off, even from herself. Something so devastating happened, she's forgotten about it, I guess. There's still a chance. Somewhere deep in Athena's heart. There might still be a memory that not even she knows about yet. It might be like looking for a grain of sand somewhere in the cosmos, but still. That memory might contain a new fact that could prove her innocence. I hope for everyone's sake that you are not just bluffing, Mr. Wright. Now then, is there or is there not a problem with Miss Cykes' confession? My memory is still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, the feeling of it stabbing me deep. I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down my flowed down the handle onto my fingers. There's definitely something wrong with her memory of the event. I can just tell. If there's a problem with her confession, please prove it to the court now. This. Yep, blood flowed down the handle, apparently, but there's no blood on the handle. Oh, down the handle onto her fingers, but again, there's no blood on the handle. Isn't that the katana the defendant used to kill the victim, Mr. Wright? I respectfully and vehemently disagree, Your Honor. But I remember it. I remember holding the weapon and getting blood on my fingers. That's exactly my point. If blood really did get on your fingers while you were holding it, there should be blood on the handle. But please focus on the handle of the sword. There's not a trace of blood on it. And therefore, this is clearly a contradiction of the facts. You're right. Oh my! Oh yeah! Of course. The defendant must have simply confused a portion of her memories. She mentioned it was hazy to begin with, and we can't mull over every minor detail. But she also said there's no question I remember it, a fact we can't ignore. In that case, why don't you explain what this contradiction with her memories mean? Gladly. Just give me a sec to think of something. I want to say that Athena didn't stab anyone. But she said it herself that she remembers the feeling of committing the act. Think, Phoenix, think. What could the contradiction with Athena's memory mean? The blood was wiped off the weapon, no, because there would still be a trace of it. Yeah, use a different weapon. Miss Cykes said blood flowed down the handle, but the katana's handle is spotless. So doesn't it follow that the defendant must have used a weapon other than the katana? What are you up to this time? Something. This is it. This time I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good. The weapon that took Dr. Cykes' life was the katana. That much is for sure. So if I can show a possibility that Athena didn't use the katana, it could help me prove her innocent. A different weapon, you say? What weapon would that be exactly? Right, of course you would ask that. I can see you're floundering, Mr. Wright. Did you speak without thinking again? As always? How does he do that? But I can't back down. Not here, not now. That's right. I did. Because it's so obvious it doesn't require any thought. What did you say? Okay, so maybe that was an exaggeration, but there has to be something. Was there some other bladed weapon in the robotics lab that day? Oh, what is in that box? Maybe there's something in one of the crime scene photos. I thought they were like syringes. Wait a minute, there is something. I think it's what's in that box. There's a high probability that was in the lab. I don't have that particular weapon here in evidence right now, but I do have a piece of evidence just like it. Oh. Other than the katana, there is another blade that may have been used at the crime scene. It's gonna be something like that. From a set of utility tools used by Space Center techs. There we go. But that's the murder weapon in the Clay Terran case. I'm using it as an example. Yes, this is a knife that took Mr. Terran's life. But there must have been a knife just like this at the scene 7 years ago as well. Toolkits containing utility knives like this, or like this one, are issued to Space Center employees. And a robotics lab especially would naturally have one of these around. But besides the katana, no other bladed weapon was found at the site. I was in the investigation report. Or it was in the investigation report, if you didn't know. Of course I knew that. Once you told me just now. And here's something else you already knew. There was a toolkit at the scene. But it didn't contain any blades. Here is a photo of its contents. Oh. You're right, I don't see any kind of bladed tool. Fine. But isn't there something odd about the design of these handles? Oh yeah! Wait a minute. They spell out something. I can see that's an A. There's a C. An X. Oh, is it Cykes? No, because there's no E. Wait, how do they spell Cykes? It's not. Is it C-Y? Oh no, I don't think there's an X in it actually. Oh wait, it'd be the Space Center's name, Gyaxa or something. Something like I thought Cykes. Therefore, there was no other bladed weapon in the room. I disagree. This toolkit contained a knife. And what proof do you have of that? Don't tell me your eye for art is failing you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You are the last person in the world who should be criticising my aesthetic sense. No, he is simply watching out for your ocular health. Please proceed, Mr. Wright. Notice that the handles of each of these tools have a sort of design on them. Ah. I see they do. But what significance does that have? It's clear that one of the tools is missing from this toolkit, or from this kit. If we rearrange the tools into a specific pattern, we might be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing. Let me guess. Wait a minute. Is that the theory your pitiful sense of aesthetics helped you come up with? Let me guess. The knife we have... Oh, that wouldn't spell... That would be a... Would that be a Y? No, that would be the A. Edgeworth, just let it go, man. Show the card then, if you would. What pattern or design would we see if we were to rearrange the tools? Do we have anything that has Gyakta on it? Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, it would be that. It is the knife that has that pattern on it. Yeah, it's like an... It's basically an A. It goes in... Yeah. Ah! And what design is this supposed to represent? The Gyakta logo, Your Honor. It's on all of the Space Center's documents and pamphlets. As you are aware, Gyakta is the program that operates the Cosmos Space Center. Look at how brightly the Gyakta logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going. Gyakta, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program? I've played all of these. I've played all the Ace Attorney games, so you kind of... You learn to think differently. Well, not think differently. You just learn to pick up on certain things. But as soon as they notice, like, hey, there's a pattern, I instantly thought, oh, the knife. Just look at the knife and see if it fits, and it did. I think I see it now, but... Because if you actually rearranged, it would go... the wrench, then the Allen key. So basically, the wrench, which is third slot, then the last one, and then it would be the... I don't know what half of these are called, but the one that's got a Y, and then there would be a space missing. It'd be three space, and then 3, I think. If you rearranged it all. I'm hoping they will actually show us it rearranged. Yes, with just the tools shown in this photo, it does rearrange it, there you go. The red A part of the logo is missing. There it is, and this is where the meta weapon from the Terran case comes into play. If we were to place the utility knife in the open slot... There it is! It would complete the Gyakta logo. So it would. Then that means... Admit it, Mr. Edgeworth. My aesthetic sense is keener than yours, and while you're at it... Admit that the weapon Miss Cykes